welcome to the Do It All Dad Year podcast. Dad friendly entertainment for you and me. Controlling our children through comedy can make our kids great again. And this is episode 30. I'm a better dad than Harold Ramis because you want to learn whether a semi-older gal can ride your pogo stick with real feeling? Watch her plop on a new seesaw with her kid to see if she really throws her back into it versus being an indifferent Humpty Dumpty on it. I shared that joke with my wife last night, and she laughed a long time. She said, that is do-it-all dad material indeed. Yesterday was Prime Day. Give me more moans of despair on The Handmaid's Tale. I never outgrew my peeping Tom sodomy Quaker phase. Did Drago pop out of your smartphone at the voting booth to sway your voting decision, predicting Huma Liquor Breath will lose? Also, who did Obama ask for help disarming chemical weapons in Syria after his red line bluff blew up in his face? Has the Seth Rich murder been solved yet? Just checking. Did Crooked Hillary get the debate questions in advance? Did the deep state pay CNN to post a fake Russian dossier collusion story with less legs than Lieutenant Dan? Resist this, losers. Don't respond to comments, like, retweet it, or fuck off, asswipe is my mentality in the subject. Still, have to repeat this gem. Whatever you say, comrade. Who knew a butt boy reference about Putin in relation to me passes as grown-up thought these days? Planning only one kid is selfish. You're only doing it to get more money out of mom and dad prematurely. Your kid isn't even planted. Yeah, you're already using plans for your unborn fetus to conceal your sketchy side to mom and dad in advance. Sir Snort-a-Lot. John McCain still picked Tina Fey's hottest... John McCain still picked Tina Fey's hotter sister as his VP pick, correct? Just checking. I was beginning to think his opinion mattered again. Treason Summit. Gifting $150 billion in nuke money to Iran was done in good faith, obviously. Treason Summit. Tragic mistake. Tragic mistake. Getting your ass whooped by Obama was tragic, McCain, considering Obama's pamphlet-pushing street cred credentials compared to your decades of honorable public service. How much are you worth again, Palin Picker? Impeach Trump. For what? Asking if the DNC server is anywhere out there. Knowing Seth Rich got iced for spilling the contents to WikiLeaks in it? Only unsolved murder in Washington, D.C. history. Seth Rich was the DNC head of new voter registration. Curious yet? Joan lives. Funnier dad, happier baby. How do I know this? Because my kids are way happier than both mama and I were at their age. Because I'm way funnier than both grandfathers combined. You want a photo off, old man? You want to compare? Baby offspring pics? Putin's trending again on Twitter. I hope this pussy riot lasts all summer long. Honor Kid Rock at the Kennedy Awards. Pretty please, Mr. President. With some extra booger sugar on top. Pamela Anderson can pick up her dress for Julian Assange to see on Wi-Fi again. In not so splendid isolation, I don't need no one. I'm like Louis C.K. minus the Emmys and annoying kid material because mine aren't. Plus, I possess the ability to distinguish between real life and a peep show in Times Square during the summer of '69. I whacked it till my fingers bled. Father's boy, younger brothers. What does this mean? It's a blatant joke about my younger brother being, instead of a mama's boy, I'm calling him a father's boy. Here we go. This is my younger brother. Dad isn't a narcissist. This is me. But you're blinded by your own narcissism. I can't even say that. Let's repeat this. This is my younger brother getting all defensive on my dad's behalf. Dad isn't a narcissist. And this is me. But you're blinded by your own narcissism because you post driving selfies on Facebook. Trust me. All your fascinated friends on Facebook know you passed the point of objective return, bro. This is my wife. I don't want to share your good head. And this is the unemployed comedian / father 3, Big Me. That makes 2 of us, babe. For once, we meet in the middle. Hal Ramis chose Bill Murray as his daughter's godfather. No Ernie Hudson? I love this town, love? Baby boomers hate babysitting the first time all year, only to be flooded with new grandchildren pics by the South Street Seaport because, like the Russian collusion story, they can't help but feel like yesterday's news. This is my mom. We leave August 24th for our road trip. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, wonderful. So Jonathan can move back into your apartment then with his girlfriend and stop acting like a displaced, persecuted Syrian refugee. This is the funniest line my son's uttered so far in his 4 years on this earth. Son says, "Hey, Cortana, throw yourself out the window." I love it how my children's ad-libs completely overshadow my crafted one-liners. Clown in the making. Even my 14-month-old son walks funny. He wobbles around like Charlie Chaplin after taking a dump in his pants, meaning too many quinoa burgers. Caring test. Reminding my mom I have early-stage skin cancer again in my finger, only to immediately switch focus to my last podcast episode, Funnier Dad, Happier Baby, to see how fast she tunes out her surgeon concern altogether. I'm done feeling bad for guys who work for UPS. They get to wear shorts all summer, make Waze their permanent side bitch, get paid good dough to do it, and the post office isn't putting them out of business anytime soon either. So again, let's get back to the theme of this episode 30. I'm a better father than Harold Ramis because, number 1 reason, superior godfather selection. I mentioned before, Harold Ramis picked Bill Murray to be his first child's godfather. This is before, Wes Anderson unearthed his more nuanced mope-faced side. Despite Bill Murray being known as a consummate bully, despite Bill Murray being moodier than God on Father's Day after polishing off too many boozy calves in Napa Valley, SpaceX delivery, of course. On Father's Day, God says, Jesus, kid, just because you died for mankind's sins, you're still on the hook for a Father's Day gift in my honor sometime this century. God forbid, just once, you hook up your dad with a pair of new Bose headphones for Father's Day. The noise cancellation ones? Joan Rivers won't shut the F up already. I need Yenta noise cancellation headphones. Every day with Joan, it's she, he, Michelle this, she, Hulk that. How many times do I have to tell Joan Rivers? Pence is on it. He's on a mission from God. More than Seth Rogen. Trust me, Yenta breath. Historical side note. On the set of Groundhog Day, Harold Ramis threw Bill Murray against the wall for being prolonged moody, like Not My President moody, 500 days into Trump's presidency moody. Bill Murray shut out Harold Ramis from his life forever after Ramis got physical with him. All Violet Ramis got from stand-up Bill after her father died was a one-liner text. Nothing more, nothing less. Moral of the story, Bill Murray equals legendary shitty godfather. Sofia Coppola's kids better have Jason Schwartzman as their godfather instead. In case you're wondering, I have not selected a godfather for any of my 3 kids yet, but in honor of Violet Ramis, the writer of Ghostbusters' Daughter, now available on the Kindle, I'm assuming, I'm going on a road trip down south called Barnstorming Barbershop USA, my own mission from God, in a search for my kids' larger-than-life black godfather in the mold of Bernie Mac, Wilson Pickett, and Ben Carson combined. Another reason why I am a better father than Harold Ramis. I'm a better father than Harold Ramis because the open marriage arrangement for Harold Ramis still wasn't enough. Translation. According to Harold Ramis' daughter Violet, Harold Ramis had affairs left and right, so did the mom. Still, he had to fall in love, divorce his college sweetheart, and leave his only kid behind with a depressed artist stay-at-home mother, only to be molested by her new stepfather at 10 years old. The new stepdad showed 10-year-old Violet pieces of kiddie porn art that would make the Podesta brothers blush. Of course, this happened in LA with no repercussions for the stepfather. Of course, he got off easy. Did he change his last name to Fonda? My chest. I'm a better father than Harold Ramis because he didn't create one funny nickname in his daughter's honor. The comedic author genius of his day, Harold Ramis, could research obscure names of fungus for the sake of Ghostbuster screenwriter material, but couldn't find the time between rolling joints in front of his only daughter to light up his daughter's world with a funny, unique nickname, which applies to her own stem of specialness? It's always a work in progress, but nicknames for my 7-year-old daughter include so far Female Flash, Singing Rose, 8'2", 10 and 3 years, and a recent addition, Shoshana, but I only call her Shoshana, which is her Jewish name, but I only call her Shoshana whenever my daughter Matilda is wearing her hair curly after it's been in braids for days. Pathetic effort, Ramis. Pathetic. I'm a better father than Harold Ramis because Harold Ramis only had one kid with his first wife. Ramis only had one kid with his college sweetheart, and they weren't hurting for cash either. Unlike myself, who at 42 with 3 kids is so broke my Hebrew name is still under judicial review. So by the time his daughter Violet was 6, Animal House and Caddyshack were in the bank. Did Harold Ramis really think his super dry, sardonic, stoned at home all the time personality was enough to keep his only daughter's spirits afloat? Next time, he was on a shoot in the Caribbean for Club Paradise, almost getting busted for buying pounds of ganja there, which is a real stupid dipshit entitled Hollywood move, by the way. Also, hanging out with Robin Williams stoned on a booze cruise in the Caribbean sounds less appetizing than seeing the Allman Brothers on gluten-free church bake-off sale brownies. Hey now. I remember writing my pilot, Heavy Metal High, my star vehicle for Dice, in a cramped one-bedroom apartment with my only kid watching Little Bear on TV thinking, my daughter deserves more entertainment value and loving and involved company than this. Her younger brother, Arthur Morrison Kornbluth, was blasted out of Mama's heavenly snatch to save the day. Thank God. You're all gold, Art Show USA, inside and out. And they can't take that away from me. God obviously chose to take away any semblance of a respectable singing voice in any past lifetime, because I obviously don't have one, much to your chagrin. I'm a better father than Harold Ramis because love child I did not. Last time I checked, there were no love child surprises involving a half sister from mother Amy Heckerling. Around 12, Harold Ramis' daughter, Violet, learned her dad knocked up Amy Heckerling because Bill Murray double dared him. Amy Heckerling is the director of Clueless and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Pretty sure she wrote the screenplays too. Imagine Violet, Harold Ramis' daughter, an only child till then, learning her beloved comedy legend, writer-director dad, knowing that her dad, Harold Ramis, had banged out a mysterious daughter out of the director of Clueless and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Right after the big reveal, Harold Ramis' daughter is thinking, Dad thinks he could bang out some super dream team comedy baby behind my back? And he still thinks I'll kiss his ass wholeheartedly? Because he let me watch Blue Velvet up till 1 a.m. on a school night on a regular basis? My future book in his honor to expose all his warts and all is coming together better than I expected. I don't have any love childs because being a stay-at-home father of 3, I couldn't find the time to carry on an affair if I tried. Plus, multitasking has never really been my forte either. Plus, deep down, I don't feel like a complete scumbag in comparison to Harold Ramis because I stopped jerking off to other women whenever the fantasy feels too real. Hence, the title of my eventual comedy stand-up record, Slut in a Straitjacket. I'm a better father than Harold Ramis because I showed my daughter only 3 minutes of Bride of Chucky compared to showing my 10-year-old daughter the entirety of The Bad Lieutenant. What sucks about being a stay-at-home dad is when your wife's smartphone sends her a notification about another questionable purchase of yours. Suddenly my wife calls and says, "Hey babe, so how was Bride of Chucky?" And I say, "More violent than I recall." So we stopped watching it 3 minutes flat. As opposed to Violet Ramis, who at 10 saw the Harvey Keitel flick Bad Lieutenant in the movie theater with her dad. You would think, who you would have think, would have read the review in Variety already, or at least would have given his daughter a heads up on the Bad Lieutenant's outpouring of affection in one X-rated sequence which stretched from cheek to cheek. I'm a better father than Hal Ramis because Violet Ramis is a Judy Blume fan, but no love for Charles Bukowski? One time a PR hack asked me in bemused disgust, "Why would you read Charles Bukowski poems to your son?" I say, "So he develops an appreciation for pretty women in high heels, jack off, because Bukowski's beer shits pack more spiritual heft than any dirt rag piece of fiction Sean Penn could ever produce, squirt." Yeah, so I know nothing about Judy Blume. My wife likes the idea of me changing my dirtier stage name to Michael Bloom, but it doesn't work for me because I think this woman Judy Bloom, and she just seems boring to me. It's just a boring name, Bloom. So yeah, I know nothing about Judy Bloom, but for all the talk of Hal Ramis being such a deep worldly thinker, Judy Bloom is the one main literary drop his daughter Violet mentions in her tell-all memoir to exploit her father's memory and good fortune for all it's worth. No mention of Anise Nin, Henry Miller. Henry Miller only has his own library in Big Sur, for Christ's sake. I'm a better father than Hal Ramis because Hal Ramis showcased awful munchie control at McDonald's. According to Violet Ramis, her dad would house a McRib, a quarter pounder with cheese, 6-piece nuggets, and a chocolate shake into his late 30s with his daughter to trips at McDonald's. I didn't even do that much damage when I was like 17. My 7-year-old daughter does yummy dances in my honor for my veggie-loaded casseroles and homemade burrata bomb pizzas, stating out loud. My 7-year-old daughter says, "Daddy, I know you really want to be a comedian, but can't you be a pizza maker in heaven instead? Advantage me. Suck on that, Happy Meal homage in my honor, Ramis. I'm a better dad than Harold Ramis because I never almost got arrested for pounds of dope. Once, I almost put my leg on my daughter's face on 420 on the couch because I forgot she existed for a second. So I'm not perfect either. I get it. Still, my daughter won't be penning a memoir in my honor about remembering me rolling pounds of joints that I called French cigarettes in front of her for arts and crafts time on the home front either. I'm a better father than Hal Ramis because Hal Ramis was less Clark Griswold and more like Seth Rogen's dad in Knocked Up. Getting stoned with my daughter during my golden years sounds awful. I already swore to myself to only get high whenever she's asleep because my response time on weed around her is pathetic and destroys her confidence in my gift of gab forever. Once my daughter asked, "So Daddy, if God created the universe, then who created God?" Eventually, I come up with, "God went back in a time machine made by Elon Musk." Daughter replies, "Real convincing, Dad. Thanks for making me an atheist at 4. I did love what Hal Ramis had to say about the Clark Griswold vacation dad character played by Chevy Chase. The last time he was awesome. He said, "Clark Griswold is a guy who wants to be that good dad 2 weeks out of the year." Sounds like my parents wish as grandparents for my 3 kids these days. It's still not enough because they miss out on the best of you, Matilda, Arthur, and Samuel Kornbluth. Never let anyone tell you Dad never worship his time off the corporate social grind of life with you for 1 second. I want my do-it-all Dad Year podcast to be big. I want my blog to be huge, so I could spend more happy time with baby Samuel at home, ensuring lucky number 3 is also immune to those terrible 2s. My password is Samuel Wins for my Libsyn podcast, and I do believe that Samuel has been the big winner over the past year for obvious reasons. Funnier dad, happier baby. So I was going to give a shout out to my lovely, wife last night. I love sharing jokes with her. I don't do it that often anymore because I produce them at such a fast and furious rate, and I also don't want the extent of our relationship to be based on her reaction or lack of to material of mine. She's been very open-minded. I'm very intense. I'm super opinionated, and she takes it all in stride. And we've been able to meet halfway in a lot of things. And I am grateful for falling in love with a smart, sweet, independent-minded, badass Aussie from the land down under. And while I like to toot my own horn here on the Do It All Dead Year podcast and talk about my indelible imprint on my children and talk about how I've been able to produce such healthy doses of self-esteem, when it's all said and done, my wife is ultimately responsible for planting the self-esteem on steroids by pushing the attachment parenting, sharing the bed with the kids, for the breastfeeding, turning into a 24/7 open milk bar, and it's definitely worth it. If you're going to have children, it's definitely no longer just about you. And I've said it once, and I said it again. I'll take my snuggling 40s over my chase for new Puntang 20s any day of the week. Although I do find my wife prettier and sexier than ever. And I couldn't be happier to have you by my side. And I can't wait to get you that Range Rover so you can get that boob job that you promised me. So last night, actually, it turns out there's actually an addendum, okay? So I remember my wife saying, give me 3 kids and I'll get you a boob job. So we're having that conversation last night. I don't really fantasize about having a boob job. She goes, well, actually, it hurts and it's not really like the core of my existence. It's not a preoccupation. I could really care less, but give me the Range Rover and that will come with a new set of boobs. So I've got work to do. So I will not ramble anymore about future boob jobs, but obviously, the more you guys write reviews, the more you spread the love, the sooner I get on New and Notable, and I'll be flush with new fake boob material before you know it. This is the Do It All Dad Year podcast, dad-friendly entertainment for you and me, controlling our kids through comedy, can make our kids great again, and I'll talk to you soon.